In this episode of the eCom Pulse podcast, I speak with Rachael Parrott, Senior Director of Business Development at Optiversal. As an AI enthusiast and expert in scaling enterprise e-commerce SEO, Rachael brings fresh perspective to the conversation on leveraging AI tools and strategies to improve online visibility for brands. Rachael shares her experience working with major companies like Best Buy and Sephora, explaining how Optiversal helps them enhance their online presence by utilizing first-party data, conducting content analysis, and creating AI-driven content strategies tailored to customer needs. She highlights the importance of understanding how consumers search, using examples such as niche product searches and thematic landing pages that drive incremental revenue. The discussion covers the growing influence of AI in SEO, emphasizing the need for human oversight to ensure content is relevant and emotionally engaging. Rachael also touches on the shift in focus from customer acquisition to retention and how brands are navigating the balance between their websites and third-party platforms like TikTok and Instagram. This episode offers practical guidance for businesses aiming to optimize their SEO strategies, covering everything from consumer intent to aligning content with search engine algorithms and customer needs. If you're interested in the intersection of AI and digital marketing or looking for ways to improve your e-commerce performance, this conversation is filled with actionable takeaways and concrete examples. Welcome to the eCom Pulse, your heartbeat to the world of e-commerce. I'm your host, Eitan Koter. Join us as we meet with industry leaders, marketing experts, and the innovative minds behind the tech that is shaping the e-commerce future. So plug in, gear up, and get ready for a pulse-pounding journey into the heart of e-commerce. Rachael, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Wow, I'm doing well. I'm really excited about our chat today. Plenty of things to discuss. I know you're quite of an innovator around SEO and the use of AI in SEO. So this is like probably the sweet spot of our episode. So Rachael, let's start with just introducing yourself and some of your background. And you can start from whatever you want that you feel is relevant for our chat today.
You bet. So I'm Rachael Parrott, and I live in Bozeman, Montana. And as I like to say, I've lived here since before it was cool. So that was before Yellowstone became very popular, before COVID. And I've been in sales for most of my career and really found a passion for SEO. And I love all things SEO and helping companies get found on the World Wide Web.
Amazing. So why you're so passionate about this topic?
I think because it's always changing, right? So, and it does require human intervention for all of these algorithms that Google is always putting out, right? So one of the things, like we talk about AI and machine learning and all these things. And I recently read something that I in AI should actually be EYE.
Okay.
AI, right? So we need those human eyeballs to look at everything that we're creating to make sure that we're really writing for and creating for the consumer who has the eyeballs.
Yeah. I mean, we are social creatures. We need, we have emotions, right?
We do.
Yeah.
And AI yet does not, right? So it lacks emotion because it's an algorithm.
Exactly. I think, when ChatGPT launched, then everyone was so afraid of what's going to happen. It's like there was a big threat, like a big cloud, right, up there. Yeah. But now I think people can recognize AI in a second, right? And then it's just differentiate probably some of the, bad things to the good things. And then obviously the need for more social engagement has increased because people are like trying to run away from all these activities that are managed by machines, right?
Right.
Yeah, this is something I think very, very interesting. So what is your perspective to this thing? What do you focus on these days?
So my focus really is on retail and helping retailers and brands get found online for the way that consumers are searching. So let's take, for example, I have one of my children is 17 and he plays soccer and he actually has a very narrow foot. And so I'm on the hunt for narrow soccer cleats. So guess what?
Yeah.
That is not an option to filter on any website, on the brand, on the retailer, but that's how I'm going to look for it because I know what the need is. And then it's going through and educating the retailers and the brands that this is how the consumer is searching. And you have the product that fits that description, but that's not how you're describing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And so with machine learning and with AI, we can look at all of those searches as well as the product catalog and meet the consumer at their point of need during their journey.
Mm-hmm. So obviously you're scraping and you're getting huge amount of data, right, from the past to try to probably come with some recommendation about future product description, use of keyword intent maybe is more important, right?
Correct. Well, and I think so scraping, I would say a lot of times is a bad word.
No, right? For me, it's a positive one. I don't know.
Right.
Okay.
So I would say that getting that first party data is a better use, right? And that's part of the beauty of it, right? Is you as a retailer or as a brand are sitting on a treasure chest of data. It's just how can we use it in a way that creates more revenue, and it really does fit the need of pleasing the consumer.
Yeah. And how do you know for, let's say, a new launch or what? So you're just providing like suggestion of terms, of keywords. What is the output, let's say, eventually of this process?
So the end goal, the end objective is always additional and incremental revenue.
Sure.
Right. So that's the end goal. And how do we get there? Right. So if we look at it from a reverse perspective, is we look at where the opportunities are, right? And make those suggestions. Again, not losing sight of that eye and the eyeball within AI.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to make sure that it's in alignment, right? So another person may search for cheap soccer cleats, and a brand may never, ever want to describe their brand as cheap, right? Inexpensive may be okay. So first it's looking at what the product assortment is, finding that content gap, right? So really doing that content analysis for their products, and then creating really thematic landing pages, right? And scaling that based on product descriptions as well as product reviews when available.
Okay, so you actually provide the entire scripting or like the messaging, the product description, everything.
Yep, we can, or we can look at just what you have available already. Mm-hmm. So if you've already written, right, your product descriptions, which like we know for brands who then sell to retailers or have a distribution model that way, that can be problematic because we're seeing duplicative content at the product level, right? Yeah. So having that product content differentiation, we can help with as well. However, there can be challenges with that.
Sure. So everything until now, I think it's clear. How this is aligned to, I think you told me in the prep call, they're like on the leaked Google Docs, right? They're like probably more than 15,000 different parameters that Google is searching. Is it correct, right?
Over 14,000.
14,000? Okay. How is it aligned to whatever Google is doing? I mean, or there is no connection whatsoever?
Oh, it has to be, right? But to say that I know all 14,000, like, you should kick me off right now. Right? And we don't. And more importantly, like, we know that they exist. And what we don't know is how they're weighted. Right? So some certainly have to be more important than others. There's a local component often, right? We don't know kind of those weights and balances yet. So yes, we know that really, having useful content for the consumer is important. And I think if we all operate with that as our foundation of creation, then we should be in good shape.
Yeah. And I guess it's like it's keep changing always, right? Like the algorithms and things. So it's like an ongoing, like uphill, battle that that you have, right? Like,
I don't know that I would call it a battle.
okay.
I would point out that it's much like anything in research, right? So some of my best friends are researchers and true scientists, and things are always evolving. And why shouldn't that be the same in our industry with SEO,
Sure.
right? So embrace the evolution is what I would say, and work better, right? I mean, just like, automobile colors have changed over the years, right? With good reason.
So you mentioned the use of first-party data. So in terms of the inputs to the system, what type of data do you use?
From an input perspective, we have the ability to look at product descriptions as well as product reviews, as well as we can do some image analysis as well.
Wow. So product reviews is it seems to me like very important because you have like the word bank of the audience and how they describe, why they bought, what's the problem, what the good things about it. This is like gold,
I agree
right?
completely. In fact, the one example, beyond, my own children, for the soccer cleats, I like to show our clients and other retailers is if you do a quick Google search of apartment size washer and dryer, right? So my oldest is moving into a new apartment, true story, and she needs a washer and dryer that's, compact. That's how she's going to describe it. So if you do the search, and anybody can, you're going to see that Best Buy ranks number 1. Now and that's a page that we've created. Now, what you can't do is filter going to Best Buy Direct and filter based on apartment size. However, found that opportunity because we looked at how the consumer who's previously made those purchases and reviewed, they're describing it in such a way that's compact, apartment size. So we're finding semantically relevant key phrases to that overall search term, which is apartment size washer and dryer. And so we do that at scale, right? So across industry, right? So in across categories. So we can talk about washers and dryers. We can talk about dresses for travel. There's all kinds of opportunities that the retailers or brands have that they're sitting on that they just haven't surfaced or addressed.
Got it. So you aggregate all this data, customer reviews, probably surveys, whatever information that customers and brands, retailers can provide you, right? Any input is very important. But it used to be like keywords. It used to be very, very important, but that's not the only parameters that is relevant, right? We have also customer sentiment, intent. Let's talk about these parameters as well.
Right. So we know based on how somebody searches what their intent is, right? Are they knowledge seeking or are they transaction seeking? Right. So what are we writing for? Typically with Optiversal,
so is
we're
it
writing
like
for
the way they describe their questions? There is like tone of voice, or maybe all of the above, or maybe other parameters.
Right. So we want positive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the idea is that AI can help a lot with understanding sentiments, right?
Sure.
Like
right. Because your product of AI also is to really be able to scale it. Right. So we're not requiring teams to have hundreds of people, but yet we are creating the output of hundreds of people.
Wow. Yeah. And I know you're working with like big companies, right? You mentioned Best Buy, Sephora. I mean, this is like your target customers. Do they have the internal resources to support and not overwhelmed by all this? Resources,
but if you think about what we need as the input so that we can create an output that's meaningful, we need a number of products, right? So to go to the washer and dryer example, it's not a great consumer experience to then search for an apartment size washer and dryer and have one show up.
Yeah.
Right. So that's not a great user experience at all. So what we need is we do need thousands, preferably of products to be able to find those search opportunities for, so that we can have multiple products that then land on the create the thematic page.
And how this activity is related to like the funnel stages, like top of funnel, middle funnel, lower funnel. Is it like how this is implemented across the various stages of funnels?
Right. So what we're seeing is that when we implement a client, we are seeing that we're going after first high intent for conversion. Right. So we are showing a lot of ROI. I can't disclose what that is here, but it's enviable. I can say that.
Wow. Amazing. So like your solution versus like other out there, right? The straightforward, SEO tools. What's the major key differentiators? Is it like time? Is it cost? Is it finding better targeting? Is it being more specific on keywords or intent? Or what are the major differentiators?
I would say why choose? I would say all of the above is the answer.
Okay.
So it is the scalability, right? So needing to see that increase in revenue, we are providing that rapidly. We're providing rapid page build out. And then the other thing is that we are looking for non-competing. So we aren't going to go after things that are already ranking for. So no cannibalization. So in case, let's take, for example, you need to create content or pages around a holiday, right? So Sephora, let's say Halloween's coming up, and people are now searching for Halloween makeup. Now they're going to be doing that come August or September, but January, that page is no longer really needed. And so to prevent site bloat, we'll then deactivate and revisit at a later date, right? So we're not just creating pages and not monitoring. So monitoring for those activities on those pages that have been created to make sure that they are in alignment with the client's wishes.
Yes. And this is why also it's very important to update existing or past product pages, blogs, whatever, just to refresh them, right? So,
yes.
So what usually happens during this period, if it's a 1-year-old page, right? Things are changing, like competition is changing. And then in terms of keywords or
so we're
targeting.
Every single day. Wow, and depending on the feed that we're getting from the client, we will update the assortment, either if they've got a pricing flag, right? If it's out of stock. There's all kinds of information that we get from the client in their product feed that may need to be updated, up to several times a day.
Yeah. Yeah. And usually you provide a recommendation and the client has a content team that is updating stuff on their side. That's the usual process.
From client to client. So, at a minimum, it's going to be once a day, but with the level of enterprise that we're working with, sometimes it's multiple times a day because you don't want to also suggest a product, again, going back to the washer and dryer, that then is out of stock.
Yeah. You mentioned previously rapid sales, rapid results, and we talk about SEO, right? I mean, it doesn't usually, you don't combine these words in the same sentence.
Oh, you don't. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And that's why it's also important that from our client's perspective, they've got good domain authority. And we do see a greater speed to results, right? Quicker speed to results, the higher domain authority is, which is also interesting because it's not really a Google metric. So yes, we are, and speed is relative in SEO, right? So
exactly.
Take that also into account. So it's not SEM speed, it's SEO speed.
Yes. Talking about SEO speed, I mean, let's take a broader view, maybe just zoom out a little bit. What has changed, in the last probably couple of years? I mean, from your perspective, or nothing changed? I mean, a lot of things have changed, obviously. It's the same, this long process of, SEO. This has not changed, right? But what has changed in terms of the work processes, algorithms? What are the major developments around SEO?
Oh my gosh, where to start? So I think that brands are getting a larger share of search, right? We've seen Google toggle between having to click through the search results pages to endless scroll to back. I think from the one static thing though that I stand by is the quality of content, right? So that is not a new thing. I think that awareness is new, that it really does matter. And I think there's so many changes, but I think again, foundationally, it's important to keep in mind that quality content and updating that quality content, right? So we also know that, for blogs, for example, keeping those up to date is an important ranking factor.
Yes. So what is you think the definition of a quality content? Is it something which is probably original content or more creative content, or like what's important in quality content?
What's important? So non-duplicative, for one, sure. Right? And no geo stuffing. That's swapping or stuffing, right? So for example, I'm wearing a pink dress today. And if I did pink dress in Bozeman and I'm describing like in a blog, like, oh, it's great to wear this pink dress in Bozeman. Don't just take, it's great to wear this pink dress and put it in New York or Boise or wherever, right? So there needs to be a uniqueness. What that percent of uniqueness, I don't know. But it needs to be more unique. It needs to be, again, for the human to read it and to be helpful, right? As we all heard, helpful content, the helpful content update.
Yeah. What about, there are a few stages here. So one, you go to Google, you search for whatever you want to search as a consumer, you get results. Maybe you click on a link, you land on a product, on a brand page. What's happening, or what should happen, let's say, maybe from your experience on that stage, right? Because I see a lot of companies, they have great success redirecting to their website, but then there is a huge drop, right, of conversion on the website. So what are the things that you see that are working on that stage?
I don't think that they're getting the product that they need, right? Right. So I do think that the consumer isn't seeing what they've requested, right? So if you search for something very general, right, like a pink dress, let's say, right, then you show them pink shirts instead. That's you're not looking at the complete long tail. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I think that's part of it. It's kind of like that bait and switch of, auto manufacturers. Hey, I want a 3-wheel car. You're showing me 4-wheel cars. Like, not interested.
And we've discussed before, and you mentioned the fact that you can identify if there is an intent or just as looking for information, right? So assuming on a brand, so are we redirecting to a product page anyhow? Or if we figure out that they're looking for information, maybe we can redirect them to a product, to a blog, or to some content around that. So creating like various assets, right, around the same product. Right. Articles, product pages, whatever, survey, some different type of information. And then from there, take them through a journey that maybe redirect them to a product page, right?
Right. Like, for example, like just to reiterate that point is, it's summer. People are looking for what to wear to summer weddings, right? And so what they need to wear to a summer wedding, you could create a blog around that. Oh, did my internet go bad?
Yeah, let me just mark this location. Yeah, there are a few like stop it. You know what? I'm going to shut off your video.
Okay.
I think you will see me. But we can continue and the video will be recorded, okay? But I think it's going to help us.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay, I'm still here. You can see me, right? You cannot see yourself, I guess.
Correct.
Okay, that's okay. We'll continue like this for a few minutes. I think it's going to be to help. Okay?
Okay.
Great. Yeah. So again, creating variety of content around specific topic. It's going to be like a list, like an article, like various product pages. This is something that I see a lot happening right now, right?
Mhm.
Just with probably a collection of type of assets around specific topic.
Right. And so I think again how the consumer is searching, right? So before my internet went wonky, it was like, what should I wear to a summer wedding? And you can create a whole blog or two around that. And then have your products that link within that. So it may be, something as general as what to wear to a summer wedding and talking about how great your suits are or your dresses or your heels or whichever, right? I think is an opportunity to expand on the product content as well as show your authority for that.
Yes. And this probably gives you a higher ranking overall on Google. Obviously, if you do this type of collection and enrichment in terms of the content types around a specific topic. Another thing that I wanted to discuss with you that what I see a lot. So we work, for example, with a lot of brands who, that they publish videos and content on TikTok, on Instagram, and we would do SEO work, for example, on TikTok captions, but that SEO, we build it for Google, right? So when you search for something in Google, it will give you not the brand.com, it will give you their TikTok or their YouTube or other platform for you to check out. Have you seen this growing lately? Because sometimes, and you experience this obviously as well, when you search for something, you won't find the brand.com as a first choice. Maybe you'll find other brands' assets like on social or other marketplaces in a higher ranking. So is it something that the brands are doing on purpose, or is it something that Google is influencing? What do you think about that?
I have to believe that the brands would not be their ideal experience for the consumer, right? I don't think that's their ideal. I think that they're trying to win against that. And I think that TikTok, right? So there's a lot of talk about TikTok and, ultimately what's the future of it in the US? We don't know, right? So I think that really, what's the saying? Winners focus on winning and losers focus on winners. So we need to focus and stay the course and stay focused on winning where we have the right to.
Got it.
So I think that's the case in brands, and that's what we're seeing is brands are starting to win because they have the right to win.
Yeah. Makes sense. I want to talk to you also about, sorry.
What are your thoughts on that?
Look, I mean, there is a big trend to like social commerce and people trying to, it's difficult to acquire customers and bring them to your own .com brand website, right? Sometimes if your target audience are in other channels, if they're currently endless scrolling on TikTok or they're on YouTube, you want to place ads and you want to place checkout opportunities on all their other platforms, right? But they are also they need to create SEO activities and search activities on each one of those platforms. Each one of those platforms has a different way how to categorize your product, right? Each category may be different in each one of the platforms, and how do you describe your products is also something that needs to be improved. So I think brands need to have a more holistic view. Obviously, Google is probably very, very important, but they want to have that social commerce opportunities and checkout opportunities also outside of their .com. And we see the statistics like the share of brands .com sales is, I think, shrinking versus other channels like marketplaces and social commerce and all. I think in the last probably couple of years, the majority of the efforts was to bring people to their .com. But now they realize that it's so expensive, like CPCs are increasing across the front all over, and Those platforms are encouraging users to stay on their platform and check out. So I think brands are willing to accept the rev share with the other platforms because cost of advertising is increasing. So it's rev share versus cost of advertising. So happy to do the rev share and create some shoppable opportunities across these other channels, right? And this is what I see, right, all over. So it's a good mix of acquiring new customers on your own domain and also having the shoppable opportunities across all the other channels, primarily social channels, and obviously TikTok, which is growing very, very fast.
Right. Well, and the other challenge that we're seeing in kind of this next generation of consumers is lack of loyalty.
Yeah.
Right. There's not the brand loyalty that there once was. Right. So we're, everybody is, I shouldn't say everybody, but there's a lot of consumers ready to look, to be sold to, right? In the way that they want to be sold.
Exactly. I totally agree. And I see a lot of focus moving from acquisition to retention. People are just warming up their email marketing. They're investing a lot in, loyalty programs and coupon code and a lot of stuff that brings customers back, which is much cheaper than acquiring new customers, obviously. I just interviewed one of the brands that 50% of their revenues are from email. 50%, right? Huge. And it's like large numbers, not a small one.
Right.
I was really shocked. And I asked a lot about, they do something really, really right. And they just started to focus on email marketing probably about 6 months ago. It's going very, very well. So that's, I think, great news, right, for brands. And obviously more targeting existing customers and retaining them and sell more from existing customers. That's land and expand in terms of the strategy.
Yes.
Yeah. So going back. Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to ask you about what for you will be like a very good campaign or a very good project. Let's talk about some of the KPIs or ROIs for the type of work that you do, with brands. How brands are analyzing success.
So quite simply, it's incremental revenue, right? So that is the definition of success, because we first find where they aren't ranking, create a page for the identified opportunity that their products can show up for, have the right to win. And because that page didn't exist prior, it's very easy to prove that incrementality. Right. So, amazing. And as I like to say, we don't do funny math, right? So we're not having to have the last click attribution debate, argument, however you want to categorize that. Instead, we're looking at, okay, this page didn't exist prior. Your Google Analytics or your Adobe Analytics proves that, and you can see how well it's performing. Now, I think it's as simple as that. We try not to overcomplicate it.
Got it. And what will be like a typical time for showing results?
It takes a quarter. It takes about a quarter. Again, kind of back to your, kind of point that SEO is a long game, right? So it's a marathon, not a sprint. And we need to be able to iterate on some of those pages as well, right? So the goal is to have a ramp plan to expand those pages, to make them go live, to include them on the sitemaps, give them an opportunity to rank. And again, this is about the long tail. So it is about the aggregate of the collections of the pages that we put together. It's not about, oh my gosh, company X, Y, and Z, we see that you're missing out on 100,000 organic visitors a month. It's, here's an additional 500 visitors, right? Organic visitors, right? So again, it's about the aggregate.
Got it. And what are the major factors for increasing domain authority?
The factors are somewhat hidden, right? So it's, I guess I don't, that's
Everything
a good
is hidden. It's a whole mystery, right?
It's a
Yeah.
mystery. I'm not sure that I can actually, I know I can't accurately answer that. So,
but whatever the best guess, let's call it, or not guess.
Right, the best guess. Definitely,
Guess.
right. Definitely a guess is that, they're providing content that the consumer is products and content that the consumer is looking for, and they're having click through, right? And so it's not, and they're having consumers, the intended consumers, engage on their website.
Yeah.
So, it's not spammy, for lack of a better term. It's meeting some needs. And again, from an aggregate, we Google, your analytics can show what your site interactions are like.
Yeah, that's easy. That's very easy to see. And there are external factors that are influencing SEO success or domain ranking success, maybe backlinks or even your PPC advertising. If you're using WordPress, some of the keywords, is it influencing success?
I think it has to be, right? So I've never been one to promote backlinking and buying links, or, those would be things I would call more black hat. So my experience in my career has always been a focus on content, quality content, and for a period of time it was localized, right? So we believe that Google prioritizes local intent, right? So if I'm giving a search for pizza, right, from Montana, it's not going to serve me restaurants in Manhattan, right? So we know that there's a local component as well. So when you think about travel or, immediate needs, right, like food, that local component is important.
Yes. And if I'm a brand and I do SEO work and I do SEM and probably Google Shop, right? If I do a lot of things on Google, this will influence the results, I guess, as well.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
For
And
sure.
we're looking at Google Shop, right? So, I recently was actually fixing my power washer this weekend, and I needed a new carburetor. And so I needed for a new carburetor online, and I was looking, at my local hardware stores and, some auto parts stores so that I could get, a small carburetor to fix. And so it did serve me those. Now, ultimately, they weren't available in store, right? Even though it was pointing me to the location of the retail outlet.
Got it. Great, Rachel. So anything else you want to add or that I didn't ask?
I think it's important to think about how there's different types of AI, right? Okay. And I do believe that we are very much in the forefront of AI, right? And there's different types, and there's the reactive, there's limited memory, so training models, right? And there's, if we go all the way fast forward almost to sci-fi, right? There's a self-aware AI that I think as consumers may be afraid of. So I believe right now, my perspective is that right now we're in this age of both reactive and a limited memory type of AI. And there's a lot of growth to be had. Right. And so I think thinking about all the different ways we can use it, yes, for SEO, we can create models for financial models, right? There's all kinds of ways to use AI, not just the written word. And I think really understanding how the written word is created through AI, right? It's a rapid succession of the next best word.
Yes.
Right? It's not really understanding the emotion. And that's why we can't overlook having humans review everything that's part of what we put out there, right? So for SEOs who may be afraid, or marketing managers or CMOs, you need your team to review everything, because we aren't there yet, right? We aren't in this self-aware AI.
Got it. So you talk about, if I hear you correctly, we will see more specialization probably in different niches, like maybe finance, or categories like finance or marketing or real estate or whatever. That's like probably one of the trends that you identified in the near future. What else? I mean, obviously, human needs to be involved, but how do you see this evolving, in the following years?
I think healthcare. I think healthcare would be big. I think, to your point, real estate. I think using AI to anticipate needed repairs in a manufacturing facility. Where does it end, right? It's a great tool that requires human knowledge and intervention.
Nice. Wow, Rachel, super, super interesting. So this is usually the part where I ask my guest about a fun fact about themselves. So I'm happy for you to share one as well.
So fun fact is I have 3 redheaded kids, and they were all born naturally red hair, and they have not lost it. And they're all 3 different colors. And my husband nor myself have red hair.
Wow. Amazing.
Yes. All 3 red hair, and all 3 have blue eyes. So they are genetic anomalies.
Wow. This is absolutely amazing. Wow. They're really beautiful. I can imagine. Really interesting. So really, thank you, Rachel, for sharing.
All right. Thank you.
Great. I really thank you so much for this. Super, super interesting. I feel that we can speak a lot more about this topic. So maybe we can schedule something in the future. I really appreciate the time, and thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode. Your support means the world to us. If today's episode has been insightful for you, consider sharing it with someone who would also benefit. Even one share can make a big difference. Looking to elevate your e-commerce game? Discover Vimy, a multi-channel e-commerce platform that will transform your business with the power of shoppable video. Visit us at vimy.net to learn more. It's Vimy, VIMMI.net. Thank you for being part of our journey. Stay tuned for more invaluable insights in our next episode.